Alrighty guys, welcome to another beautiful sunny day in Florida, except it's really humid and I have a feeling it's gonna rain. So besides that, got the Taco Bell hat on today, you know, because we're gonna put in some work on the car. So let's take a look at our situation right now. Alrighty, so this is the trunk. Obviously we have the tub out, but pretty much today what I'm trying to plan and figure out is where are we going to manage everything, right? Where am I going to put the air management, because I'm not putting it inside the trunk, just for leaving it as clean as possible. So I'm thinking right over here in this cubby, maybe make something that attaches to this nut right there and kind of just hangs out right here. Thinking maybe that's going to be the best idea for me. If not, there is a pretty decently sized space here, you know. I could put something there, but yeah, my goal is to kind of figure out what I'm gonna do as far as routing the cables, and then yeah, kind of just get started on putting the cables in. So let's see what we end up doing here. Alrighty, so first thing we did here was take this guy. If you just pull down and then up, comes out. So easy enough, giving us a little bit more space to see what's available here. Got some water lines for coolant, so got to be careful with those. Yeah, otherwise a lot of spider webs and stuff here, so let me go ahead and keep digging there, see what else can actually come out, because you can see right there that has a nut. Well, that's just a push nut, so alright, I gotta keep dissecting. This popped off easy enough. There's a spot on the bottom here. All you do is pull it towards you, and then on the top left, let me see if you guys can see that right there. On the top left, there's also another one right here. You just pull it towards you, it gets it loose. Not able to actually take it out. I gotta take off that cowel, so yeah. I'm about to remove this cowel part in order to get that part out, but wanted to show you what we need to do. So we need to take off this clip here. You should be good after that. This clip right here also, well, that clip is gone, so we need to take out this clip here. Moving over, we're going to take off this nut, 15 millimeter. There's also another nut behind here. All you do is take the cover off, 15 millimeter. We have this clip here, that clip down there, and then you'll be able to pop it off. First you're going to do is take off the windshield wipers, and then you can take off the cowl, but you also have to take off these clips for this water line here, and these go to each windshield wiper. So you can remove it at this Y split here if you want to. All you do is just take it off right there, or you know, whatever you want to do. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that done and get that clip that fell. We're going to do this. All you do is pull up while pushing down at the same time. I'm going to wiggle it out. So I'm pushing this little point that flexes while pulling up. And that's usually what works best for me to get it out. Just wiggle it and bam. It's out. I'm going to do the same thing on that side too. Alrighty, so I got both of the windshield wipers out. One thing I wanted to mention are these clips. We got one right here, 2, 3, and 4. All you do is put a little flathead in between it on the front, and it'll unclip. And then once you have everything else done, all you're going to do is just pull up on it. So we'll pull up, it'll pop. So this side has this little piece here. As you can tell, it's actually getting pinched pretty good by this trunk. So let me lower it a little bit. There we go. Now we can get at it a little bit better. Man, it's pretty tight. I just had this windshield replaced, so that's probably why. But there we go. That cowl was loose. This side's already loose here, but bam, stuff it underneath. This side's good to go. There we go. Put it back up. Make sure we're good on both sides. And then you can just bend it, take it out. So yeah, if it wants to come out, there it is. Alrighty, so this sits in there like this. Actually, I lied. Sits in there like this. Yeah. So two things you have to look for is this top bolt here. Again, all you do is pull it towards you and it comes out. Same thing on this side, the bottom right. Pull it towards you and it comes out. And now we have a whole bunch of space for activities. And I'm thinking of putting the air management right about here. Alrighty, so I confirmed the location. The management actually sits perfectly in this area here. It's kind of wedged in there right now, but the nice thing is it's not touching anything on the bottom, so the hoses are good. So I'm not going to build it now, but I'll have to end up building something that either holds it from underneath here a little bit so it can't fall forward, and then I'll probably try to make a bracket that goes onto this, going down a little bit, angled underneath to support it from the bottom, as well as hold onto the bolts. Well, something to tie onto as far as the bolts are on either side here. So that's the idea. So now that I know where it's going to go, you know, also one thing you also have to check is that it clears this guy, right? So we have this space right here in the middle, which is perfect. That's enough space to go down and around. I get it. Now that I know where it's gonna go, let's start talking about wiring, because this is the worst part, because since I'm doing the 3H system that has the height sensors, you know, I'm running 2 cables on each side back, as well as doing 2 cables for the front. And by 2 cables, I mean 1 air hose and the actual sensor cable. So let me think about that. I think I'm gonna get the wires out and kind of finagle what I'm gonna do out here. Alrighty, sorry for the sound because they are cutting the grass, but let me show you this real quick and what it looks like. This is our airlift management system. That's what's currently inside of the trunk of the car. This is on the installation guide for the management system. So this is what's ideal, and that's what's acceptable and unacceptable. So we are doing this configuration, so it's ideal. And then one thing that they say that the manifold should be above the air tank, so we're doing that too. So moving on. It's a pretty good guide, guys. So if you don't know what you're doing, follow this guide at the very least. Alrighty, so I kind of wanted to talk about the actual harness here and how it works. So this is the PDF that the installation kit comes with, so it explains everything pretty well, but if you don't want to read it, let me tell you what you're going to end up doing. So this is the front end of the cable. This is what actually connects to the management system. So yeah, this will connect to the management. We'll work our way down a little bit here. We're going to notice a few different cables. So this is what's actually going to connect to power here on this. To power here on this side, so this connects to the battery. There are some accessories inside of here for you to actually use, like the fuses, for example. That's what that is there. So that'll connect to the battery. There's a second option here, and this is for the second compressor. So if you have a second compressor, it'll tap into this signal to turn on both at the same time. Moving on from there, we have our height sensors. So they're labeled each side there. So that's pretty much it on that cable as far as the branch. But over here we have 3 cables here. So one of them is the accessory power. So this is what tells the whole kit to turn on, even though it does have power through battery here. We have the USB cable, and we also have the power cable. So this power cable leads all the way down here. All right. You'll connect this end to the compressor. You'll connect that end to accessory power, so 12-volt source, typically whenever you turn the car on or whatever you want it to be, really, and then USB. So that's pretty much it. Nice and easy. Little worried about this part here. I have the kit for it right here. Height upgrade. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start to figure out how I want this to connect and stuff while it's inside of there. Yeah, I should also try to focus on a bracket. Try to focus on a bracket for this, even though it's, you know, honestly, it's not terrible there, but it's gonna need something to hold it. So there's a perfect little spot here on the left side of the tub. So right over here, you can actually snake the cable through, come out on this side and hit the management. So that's what I'm gonna do, try to organize everything over there. That should be perfect. I opened up the second harness and this is what it looks like. We have a relay, which is the big guy here. We have power for the compressors. So this is what gets the fuse, this goes to ground, and then this is the second connection that just connects to the first harness in the top. So I'm gonna focus on getting power to these guys and kind of going from there, because I think that's what I'll be able to really realistically get done today. So. Under the positive cable here, that's where we're going to be connecting these two. So I think that should work perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and loosen it up and add the cable. So just enough to hide the yellow, not too suspicious, but yeah, there's no fuses inside there, so nothing can arc. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is mount everything to this and kind of figure out where I'm going to route stuff with the tub. Yeah, right now I'm poking the holes. This is for the tub access, and then there's another hole here. And I gotta poke all these holes. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on getting this built with everything attached. That way I can just add it onto here and then cut whatever I need to cut in order to get everything fitted and the cables going through. Since I'm only going to be worrying about power to the compressors going through here, and then a few air lines going out the back to connect to the management. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. All right, I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit of ingenuity that I just had. So with this, I'm not able to like screw it in to the actual mount in the car, because the air tank is actually going to be covering these bolts, right? So what I ended up doing was making a post. So what you do with the post now is you grab your system, right? Put your system down. Match the hole up. There you go. Now this can't move anywhere, you know, because it's having a post here. So if I, you know, drive fast, move around, it'll only move as much as the post will let it. So it's like a little quick release system, which is kind of cool. And then to make it, what I did is I got a M6 by 125. So that's this guy. I got two nuts for it. These nuts, I believe, are M6 by 1. I got some number 6 washers and M8 by 24 washer. So yeah, 3 nuts, 1 bolt, 2 6 spacers, and 2 M8 24 spacers. They made that post right there. So yeah, that's what it looks like underneath right there. So pretty trick idea in my opinion. The next step is to get the bolts for the air tank up and on. So go from underneath, pushes right through perfectly, holds on, which is nice. And I'm just using the bolts that it came with a washer, which I think it also came with, but whatever reason, underneath, and I push, keep this tight. So yeah, I'm gonna put the tank on it, and then I'm going to put the nuts and the washers over it, and yeah, we're getting a lot closer. So for these, the nut and the bolt is a 14 millimeter. So everything is bolted in, looking good, nice and sturdy. You can see the post on this one because this was welded like at an angle, but this guy's completely covered here. So next up are the compressors. Alrighty, so I am always gonna try to show as much as I can, but this took so long to figure out, honestly, so I'm just gonna walk you guys through it. So with these compressors here, or these little shock towers, sorry, they're 10 millimeter nuts on the top, but originally it comes with an Allen key as the bolt for it. So I swapped it out with the same size bolt, which is an M6 by 1 50 millimeter, but I had these, so this is a 10 mil, so I replaced it with that in order to let this go a lot quicker. So yeah, looking good though. I adjusted everything, and then I also put a washer in between the vinyl and the spring, that way it doesn't eat out the vinyl. When vibrating, it just sits on that washer. So yeah, looking good. I passed the holes through this little cutout that I made earlier. This ended up fitting. This guy did not fit. So instead of cutting it, I pretty much flattened it. So yeah, I got to do that on this side for that guy right there. And that's pretty much it. We'll be done with the mounting as far as all the accessories, right? I got to run the wires and all that stuff next, but we're so close. So, and we also have air filters that go here, so that's gonna flush it up. I feel like this should go down a little bit more, but it's good enough. Pretty much perfect, but good enough. All right, gonna finish here. Alrighty, so everything's coming together. The only thing I really did was add this little plastic cover to make it look a little bit prettier. Otherwise, we got these cables to the compressors, so power and ground. I'm gonna make a hole right here in the front, try to make it as low as possible to run those cables through. And then I'm gonna make two holes on this side here. That way I can snake them down here and reach the management. So that's the idea so far. But I'm gonna measure, figure out how long that is. We are about 5 inches from the base here. Probably subtract 1.5 inches or so. So 7 inches, maybe like 5 from the interior here. So I'll probably just cut 5 inches right there. 5 and 6 I'll do. So that should be perfect. Go ahead and get that done. If you saw this, what I did is I put these little grommets. I drilled this out with the 18 millimeter hole saw. I put these grommets in here. I'm going to run the 2 lines out of this side here. So I want it to look as, pretty as possible, as presentable. I put the left one up a little bit too high, but it's going to be covered by the tank, so I'll let that pass. But yeah, 18 millimeter hole saw, and I used a 3/16. There you go, 3/16 grommet here. This is called a double-sided rubber grommet, and I'm going to do that for the pass-through on those. And then this side here, I'm gonna see which one I'm gonna use because, it's four wires I gotta go through. I'm thinking maybe I think maybe this size should work. If I put it, I think if I put it right here, that size should work to put those 4. And worst case, you know, I can always make it smaller. But yeah, ideally I'd like to have just a little notch so you can't see it at all. But I think this will do. I have the grommet here installed. It's pretty tight actually, so that's always good. Those 2 are installed there. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put everything on the tank, the rest of the accessories that need to go on there, and then start fishing wires through. So yeah, and by accessories I mean like the fittings on the end. And yeah, we're getting really close to having this tub done. I am tired of looking at this tub and that, even though it's really pretty. So all right, more work to do while you guys just watch. When I tell you I'm tired, I am tired. So everything is hooked up and ready to go. So this is going to be my fill line for the management system. I have the dump slash Schrader valve, you know, to fill it also on the bottom. Those are gonna stick out the back here through those grommets. And then I have compressor 1 plumbed in. I don't know if I'm gonna have to attach something here so this doesn't touch, but I might maybe do the same thing on this guy here. But yeah, so those are plumbed. I was going to use, where is it? I wanted to use this guy because it's black, you know, black right here so I can connect tools, but I thought one of these was like a male, but no, I need a male 1/4 in order to connect that to that. So in the meantime, I just plugged it. So yeah, everything's good to go, ready to be dropped in to the tub, and the cabling plumbed. So yeah, that's my goal right now. Put the cables through here, the power and ground, and put those cables there. So we're getting really close, very, very close. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so I have everything lined up here to go ahead and get ready to place this inside. Right now I'm going to run these both harness cables. So this is the second compressor harness. That's the main harness over there. Again, I'm going to snake them through the side here and pretty much pull everything out in this area. This is going to be its new home. And yeah, and then I got to find out pretty much where I'm going to put these relays. I think is going to be another issue. Kind of just go from there and then plumb the second lines, so the tank empty and the pressure line to the management. So that's what I'm going to do next. This is going to take probably like a good 30 minutes. Wish me luck. This is where we're at. Lines are all plumbed, everything's managed, as well as the power cables that go to the compressor. So next is to connect the compressor to those positive wires. Okay, so update on how all this is going. The whole front end here is plumbed up and installed. I have all the wiring bundled up and shoved in here because there's nowhere else to put it. A few little things I gotta do is gotta make a bracket for the compressor, not the compressor, for the management, so it can stay here. I gotta make a bracket or stuff these relays somewhere where you can't see them. And then I have to run these USB and the lines throughout the car and plumb up the rest of this with the water catcher and the Schrader valve, all that other little stuff. So yeah, that's everything for today. Till next time, I guess, guys. So appreciate you watching. Subscribe, just like it once. And yeah, share it, I guess. So see you guys. Have a good night. Drive safe, sleep safe. Peace.